perfect scenario, if you guys, in an ideal world, were to receive a suggestion, what form would you like to see it in? Because I know that you've got emails that you can use, you also have the forums that you can place suggestions on. What is your ideal way to receive a suggestion if someone thinks of something later and wants to send it in and wants to make sure that it's going to actually go through the correct channels?
Personally, I have absolutely no problems answering and fielding PMs on the forums. And we talked earlier about the forums and saying that it tends to have a really bad signal to noise ratio. I personally would love to encourage and see more of our player base take an active part on the forums. I think that having more voices out there, particularly right now when we're in such kind of a nebulous state where we're rebalancing, we're changing, we're smoothing out the game, having those voices and having those opinions is very, very important. Personally, like I said, for me, receiving a PM on the forums is one of the best ways to get information to me. It's there, I can look at it real quick, say, okay, I'll read that again in a minute when I'm not busy, go back and read it again, and have time to put out a thoughtful reply. So that's my own personal preference.
And that's a very good preference too, because not many games actually allow you to PM the developer.
Yeah.
Or the community manager.
No, I think that do that.
And we do this with all our games, so I mean, it's fun competition.
That's actually one thing about Funcom that does really tend to separate us from other MMO companies is that we do have a very good track record of communicating with our player base from the development team. We go in game and chat with folks. We talk to people on the forums openly. We chat on IRC with people. We have no qualms talking to you guys because we are you guys. We came from y'all.
I was actually wondering, were you guys planning on setting up, or would you be opposed to setting up in the future IRC conferences again? Because I remember that used to happen, like, I don't know about regularly, but
The last one I think was 4 years ago.
yeah.
And I don't even think that was on the Funcom IRC server.
I'm not sure which server it was on.
Xfire or IRC. It really depends. We just haven't done them in so long because there are other channels. Like Xfire, for example. And we've done Xfire, dev chats and stuff with other games, and they were phenomenal. I mean, they were awesome.
I'd love to see something like that with AO.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely thinking about it. As well, open up, new channels like Facebook. Just having a simple Facebook page, because you can communicate through Facebook.
We've done with that.
Yep. I mean, just going back on the channels you were talking about, we have the forums, the two-way channel. Emails are generally one-way channel.
Yeah.
I mean, you submit your feedback through your email, and we receive it. And more than likely, will not get a response back to you unless you're petitioning in, the customer support. I would say forums is probably the best source, the best channel that you can utilize to get feedback to these guys, because they all troll. I mean, our game director's there like almost every day now, which is awesome, and Brad's up there quite a bit. And I mean, I can't really speak for the rest of the developers, but I'm pretty sure they're on there a lot too.
Every last one of us checks the forums religiously. I mean, down to the single last artist on the team.
Yep.
We read what you guys post. I know it's kind of tradition to say, we never go into the engineer forum or we never read game suggestions. We do. We just don't always post.
There is another option. Go to the volunteer.funcom.com page, become a volunteer, and actually participate in the volunteer, which you're very much closer to Funcom.
Yes, definitely. By all means, anyone who has any interest in helping out and volunteering for Anarchy Online, we're more than happy to have them. Yep. Particularly right now, we're looking at working more closely with our volunteers, particularly in terms of community relations and storyline. I recently, when I came back to Anarchy, stepped up and began overseeing the AO storyline, which involves me working very closely with the ARC events team. That was my old job in ARC before I got hired from Funcom. And I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to work very closely with them and get some of their ideas and storyline stuff into the game. Joining ARC is a fantastic way for you guys to get more direct communication with us up here in Oslo. So by all means, we'd love to have you there if you want to volunteer.
Also, in addition, if you guys have a problem in game, just send in a petition. I took over the CS department in November, maybe, of this year. I was the QA manager 100% before then. But since I've taken over, you've seen, if you send in a petition now, you see that we send you guys a survey asking you, to rate the GM's interaction, and especially if you ever click no, if we don't help you, I look at every single one of those to see, and we've got a great system. So if you send in something and it says no, I see exactly what you said to the GM, what the GM said to you, and all this other statistics on that. And every Thursday I have a meeting with Colin, because I'm in North Carolina and Colin's in Oslo, so we don't talk on a daily basis. But every Thursday we meet in the morning and I tell him, here are the top 10 issues that are petitioned. this is what your player base wants you to fix. And since I've taken over, we've really focused on that, both with Age of Conan and AO, with fixing your complaints that you directly submit to the customer service team, instead of just what's on the forums, because it's greatly decreased the amount of petitions that have come in. So you guys have a problem in game, send in a petition, and please answer the survey that gets sent to your email, because it is, we read every single one of them, and it's extremely important that you guys send those in, because it makes a big impact on what we actually fix in the game.
As we mentioned before, if we appreciate feedback from our community in any way, shape, or form, but it also means that you guys have to give us that feedback. So things like filling in surveys, are very important to what we do.
Anything else? I do have one quick question, and I only bring it up because it was live on the forums for a very long time. When I first started playing the game, instead of having a news section on the forum, you guys had an individual web page on the website with daily news, daily storyline content, and that's actually what hooked me into the game originally, was reading the story and being like, it's almost like being a part of a book. And I can't get that feeling from the forums anymore, simply because you have all the people underneath who don't RP, and you'll make fun, or you'll have a really serious comment and then a really nasty one, and I miss that.
I apologize for that.
In terms of getting things up on the website, look, there's no sense denying it. We slacked a lot lately. It wasn't until maybe a month ago that we started putting Friday With Me and stuff back up on the front page again. The storyline was just recently updated 2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, it's something like that. Nina did it right before she severed ties with ARC stuff, moved on to me. Personally, I think getting that information out is very, very important. And as I start to work closer with the ARC events team and rebuilding storyline aspects of AO, yes, you will see that information being pushed out.
You gotta remember, it's much like content. I mean, MMOs, they want lots and lots of content. New quests, new dungeons. I mean, it's the same for community, especially the role-playing community. They want more stories, more content from the writers. And that's a pretty heavy burden on these guys. I mean, just writing up these things. But, I mean, we're always looking to try to improve them, of course. I mean, they are pretty, we see the impact of the players.
And just so I don't seem like it's all person, thank you for the new nanos for the NTs. Thank you.
And take away the triple.
No, I love the triple. Just combine.
We should take more advantage of the smash the startup screen you get with all guys. We should update that more often and stuff.
Yes, we should. And
I mean, there's kind of stuff, just links to things.
No, that's part of a plan. I talked about learning curve before. The current AO website has a learning curve. You arrive at our site. If you haven't played before, you would have a very difficult time. In fact, you're not going to find it. To find out what professions are in the game, you can't find that out on the site. You can find out very, very little information generally about the game in general. So that entire site as it stands today is going to be ripped out. And it's going to be replaced. The launcher in the game is likely going to be replaced. We need a better way of getting news and current events out to the player base. And that's definitely a place where it's going to see some changes. We've been recently looking into a system where we can get better web content actually in the game, but we're waiting on the technology to get to the point where it's functional and stable. This would be wonderful to be able to go to a events terminal in the game and be able to access a list from the net about what was going on currently where your news are.